It's no doubt that FNAF 1 had a huge impact on the gaming industry, spawning more fan games and clones than, well, I'd be willing to guess any other game ever made. But what are some of those games? Well, you've got the huge fan favourites like The Joy of Creation and Juniors, but what if I told you there was one you've never played, or even heard of? Juniors and Joy of Creation are two games that get a ton of praise, and I actually think Juniors is one of the best Five Nights at Freddy's games out there in all honesty. But this FNAF fan game gets almost no recognition. This is Lego Five Nights at Freddy's. Lego Fnaf is a project made by Rolio10, I hope I'm not butchering that name, Peyton, as stated on the main menu, and Sunken Studios. The devs were planning on making the entire original FNAF trilogy in the Lego style until they got a cease and desist from Lego themselves. Sunken Studios put out a statement when the DMCA was issued, stating, quote, "Hey Lego FNAF fans, we'll keep it brief. Due to a DMCA takedown notice given to us by the Lego Corporation, we've had to take down the Lego FNAF 1 game page. Lego FNAF 1 cannot be distributed lawfully anymore, and the development of Lego FNAF 2 will not be continued. This was completely unexpected by the Lego FNAF dev team. We were all expecting, if anything, a DMCA takedown on behalf of Scott. However, now that this has happened, we see how much of an oversight we made with the distribution of Lego FNAF. While we of course made no profit off of Lego FNAF, a precaution we took to prevent a takedown by Scott was requiring the purchase of the original FNAF on Steam in order to play Lego FNAF. What we didn't consider with this idea is that while we didn't profit off of the Lego brand, we were directing profit off of it to Scott. While this isn't what was said in the takedown notice we received, it seems to be the most plausible explanation as to why Lego would take issue with our games. We are all terribly disappointed and hate to bring you this bad news so abruptly. Aside from that explanation, we are lost in terms of what we do next." As of right now, the games aren't available and will never be finished, besides one. If you already have the first one installed, then hey, you're in luck. But that also means the title doesn't apply to you, so I'm not sure what you think you're doing on a video titled The Best FNAF Fan Game You've Never Played. Anyways, moving on. Lego Five Nights at Freddy's shares a lot of the same sound design that FNAF 1 graces us with, and FNAF 1 had some of the best sound design I think I've ever heard in a video game. Some of the sounds are replaced with Lego ones, however, such as scrolling through the cameras. Yeah, listen to that, you hear that? That's satisfying. The sound of the phone guy has also changed too, giving us that classic Lego mumbling talk that we all know and love. There's nothing more charming than those Lego mumbles, man. The phone guy throws out a few and ers before we're thrown into the first night, which plays out very similarly to the first night of the original game. The controls are exactly the same, the cameras feel exactly the same, and the animatronics behave the same way too. I will say I had more difficulty with Lego FNAF than I did the original game, and I still haven't quite figured out why. Perhaps I'm too relaxed playing a cute Lego version of FNAF to the point where I let my guard down. Lego FNAF isn't simply a reskin though. There are cool features all throughout the game that you'll miss if you aren't careful. One of my personal favourites are the hidden jump scares. One of these triggers when you have both Bonnie and Chica in your office at the same time. When they're both definitely inside and you're sure of that, flip up the camera and then flick it back down to get this cool Easter egg jump scare. The slapstick humour here is exactly like something you'd see in an official Lego game. I'm starting to see why Lego might have taken this game down after all. It plays, looks, and feels exactly like a real Lego adaptation of FNAF would. Even the death screen is stylized. After beating each night, you earn studs, and you earn more studs on a power bonus, which I'm assuming is relative to how much power you have left. You get gold studs equal to the first number of however much power you had left when the night ended, so in my case, 20. You can use these studs to buy items too. But where do you buy items from, I wonder? Now, Lego FNAF wouldn't be a Lego game without an item shop, and this game isn't without one of those. The game has 20 items you can buy, ranging from plush dolls of the characters that you can use to alert you when the characters are nearby. For example, Bonnie's plush toy will let you know when he's left your door. This could be helpful and will save you a bit of power, making it so you don't have to check the light to see if he's gone. Chica's plush does much of the same, just for the right-hand door instead of the left. Foxy's plush will let you know when he's left his curtain, meaning you no longer have to check on Pirate Cove, and can now keep an eye on his plush doll instead. Freddy's plush will bounce up and down to let you know if Freddy has gotten into your office, and Golden Freddy's plush does something else entirely. Click on it to raise the odds of Golden Freddy appearing on the left whole camera corners. No, I don't think I'm gonna do that. The shop doesn't just have items that give you more information though. You can purchase skins for the animatronics, alongside skins for the pizzeria too, including an abandoned theme and a flashlight theme, upping the ante on the latter. One of the most intriguing items you can buy in the shop is the kitchen camera. You can actually purchase a kitchen camera that shows you what's going on when Chica or Freddy head in there. So hey, if you've ever been super curious as to what they're doing in there, you've finally got your answer. Not for that much money though. On my playthrough of the second night, I used my old unfailing strategy of light, camera, and made it all the way to the end. The second night was actually easier than the first one for some reason. I suppose the AI just felt like giving me an easier time. I made enough money on the second night to purchase the Foxy plush, which I felt was important enough to get. It meant that I could use the cameras to freeze Freddy in place for night 3 onwards without having to check for Foxy leaving his pirate cove. The plush would let me know if he'd left, so I could shut my doors accordingly. Already, with this one purchase, I realized how much more invested I was in this game than the original Five Nights. I'm not bashing that game at all, don't get it twisted. I just made a whole video on why it's amazing. However, I feel like already I'm working towards more than just the main objective here. I'm working towards making enough money to buy helpful items in the shop, all while being super cautious of not running out of lives so I don't lose all my money. Oh yeah, the lives. This game, like other Lego games, utilizes a hearts system. The hearts indicate how many lives you have, and if you lose all of your hearts, then, well, you lose all your studs. That's just how Lego games work. Lego Five Nights at Freddy's is no different. If you die too many times, you'll lose all of your money, and those precious skins you were saving for now seem so distant. The inclusion of lives really adds to the game. Overall, this game just feels like FNAF 1, but with the inclusion of extra features. It almost feels like a FNAF Plus, if you will. Like, it doesn't feel like a sequel, just a really good remaster in a really charming Lego aesthetic. Before going on into the third night, I purchased the Bonnie and Chica plushes as well, just to give me that edge I felt I deserved, and I went on in. I was not prepared. Like, at all. I was not prepared. I don't know what the devs did here, but Freddy's AI seems far more aggressive than it was in the original FNAF game. Freddy started moving almost instantly, even when I'd flip the camera up on him. I can't lie, I was dropping bricks, pun intended, the second I heard that Immediately I switched to the dining area because that's where I know he goes first, and then to the bathrooms, where I managed to keep him locked for a solid amount of time. I was able to make it pretty far into the night like this before he broke free of my cam lock and marched his way right into my office. Freddy is the one animatronic I have little experience with in FNAF 1 because I'm so used to locking him in place with the camera, but it seems like in the Lego game they've made him far more aggressive, which don't get me wrong, I really like. It means there's more to look out for, more to do, and it's more engaging as a whole. It feels like the game actually progresses, whereas in the original game you can kinda just lock Freddy in place and he'll never move. Anyways, I went back into night 3 and actually managed to freeze Freddy in place for most of this night. He made his way into the kitchen where I figured he'd quickly leave, but he actually just stayed put most of the time. Not sure why he was so much less aggressive this time around. I also figured out that the little plushies will bounce and make a Lego sound whenever they activate. It worked for both Bonnie and Chica this night, but I never got a notification about Foxy leaving his Pirate's Cove, probably due to me being on the cameras for so long. So after what was probably the most smooth sailing night 3 I could have possibly had, I moved on to night 4, but before I did that I decided to visit the shop one more time. Now I knew in my initial playthrough I wasn't going to be able to purchase any of the skins or anything super expensive, so I opted to just stick to the more useful items the game has to offer, which also happen to be the cheaper ones for the most part. I suppose they're cheaper to allow you to get through the main 5 nights easier, I don't know. It's also worth mentioning that you only lose lives on the main 5 nights, so if you were playing custom night you won't lose your heart if you were to die on it. I suppose this makes the Markiplier trophy a whole lot less stressful to obtain, if you were to go for that. I also just realized I don't have enough studs to actually buy anything, so I suppose it's on to the 4th night without anything extra to help me. Yay! The 4th night was actually super smooth sailing. It starts off with a Lego rendition of the phone guy's death. I'll play it for you, but you'll have to excuse the camera noises. I went into Markiplier mode the second the night started. There was no way I was gonna just let the audio play out without me doing anything.
Hey,
The 4th night overall was way easier than the 3rd night, and I'm not sure why. Bonnie and Chica gave me more grief, sure, but Freddy actually didn't move at all until the night was almost over. He made his way to the kitchen again before I was able to freeze him in place with the cameras. He was way too slow though, because before Freddy Farthole even knew what hit him, I was done with night 4, collecting my paycheck and hauling it out the back door. I went back into the shop after this night with my newly collected fortune to see what goodies I could purchase that would help me get through the 5th and final night of the main game. I decided a cute Freddy Farthole plush would help me through my 5th and final night of the game, or at least it would tell me if I was about to get my face crushed in Fartbear's giant jaws. So with that, I started night 5, and not surprisingly, I got completely demolished. I lasted until about the last quarter of 1 AM before Freddy got me in my office, but I managed to repel him once. I knew that he could only enter my office if I were to have my cameras up, so I really should have been more careful. The next time I attempted night 5, I was far more vigilant, constantly checking on Freddy, who was zooming around like a pinball, might I add. I made a few risky moves here and there, but for the most part, I played it totally safe. And luckily, Bonnie left me alone most of the night too, so I didn't have to worry about the left-hand door. I completely ignored Foxy as well, praying all my camera flipping was keeping him at bay. The clock ticked down until I finally beat the 5th night at Lego Freddy Fazbear's. I'm not going to play the 6th night in this video because I feel like I could save all the bonus content for a bonus video. Ooh, so let me know if you want me to go over all of that. All in all, this is such a charming game, and it makes me want to play more Lego games, believe it or not. So Lego, I don't know why you called for this game to shut down, because it makes me want to buy and play your games now. I'm craving that Lego charm. I don't know why they go through with half of these cease and desists, but hey, whatever. Anyways, the charm is off the charts. From the secret jump scare Easter eggs to the Lego sound effects like Freddy moving on the cameras and the animatronics walking down the hallways, the whole thing, the whole game is oozing Lego charm, and it makes you forget that you're playing a fan game half the time. The only criticism I have is not being able to turn on the other door light if one is already turned on. That really slowed me down from time to time, but it wasn't a super big deal. I got used to it fairly quickly. I just wanted to cover this game because a few people recently have asked me, what are you playing? On Discord, it'll come up I'm playing something, and they see it, and they're asking me what I'm playing, and it seems like they've never heard of it before, so I figured this was quite a niche game. I played it, I loved it, it's a great fan game, up there with Joy of Creation and Juniors, I think. It's a shame that the other two got taken down, but hey, it is what it is. At least we have this one. Anyways, that's the end of today's video. Please do let me know if you want me to make a bonus content video. I'm probably gonna do it anyway because I loved this game, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great evening, everybody.